Busy travel season giving a long-awaited boost to airlines in the third quarter. American and Alaska each reported better than estimated results today in the quarter that covers the late summer travel season. Let's talk about American Airlines first here, as the by far larger airline saw record quarterly profit rise 13% over the same period in 2019 as it had operated less capacity. And capacity is interesting here because what I've been noticing as well in these earnings reports is that the airlines have been keeping this so-called capacity discipline, right? The impulse historically has been demand's going up, we're going to fly more planes, we're going to fly more routes, and then when things fall off again, their profit gets suppressed. And they're kind of holding the line this time, Brad.
Yeah, there's a few things at play there, too. It's the number of pilots that they need in order to even add on new routes. It's the refreshing of some of their fleets as well that they're doing right now. And we continue to talk about some of the large plane orders that each of the airlines are making, too, that are going to be infused into their fleets over the next 5 to 7 years. In many cases, the deliveries will begin. And so in the interim period of time, the capacity restoration story that all of them are talking about, whether it's Delta, whether it's American Airlines, it's all a question in the near term for consumers of when will that actually start to bring back down prices, and what are the expenses going to be in the near term as well for the airline operators, especially on fuel. Fuel skyrocketed for American Airlines year over year, and that is something that they have to get a handle on as well.
All right, right on. And the Alaska quarter, a little snoozy to me, not a very long earnings release, but I think that one big takeaway from these airline earnings, Brad, is what American highlighted at the top of their report. Ended the third quarter with $14.3 billion of total available liquidity, more than double the amount at the end of 2019. And that is not the first airline to call out how much liquidity they have coming out the other side of the pandemic. There's going to be another crisis. When it happens, who knows? But I think a lot of these airlines are better positioned from a capitalization standpoint to deal with a crisis than they were relative going into the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's a question of returning to sustainable profitability here, too. They talked about the American Airlines team delivering on goals of running a reliable operation and returning to profitability. For this same quarter, when we think about this time last year, Delta was really the first airline to be able to get back to profitability on a quarterly basis. And so now that other airlines are finally catching up after what was a very busy summer travel season, was a headache for many of the customers and passengers that were out there, how many of the airlines as well going into and in the midst of this quarter where we're looking at holiday travel have been able to answer enough of those questions to retain a positive net promoter score or sentiment among the flying public and essentially ensure that they're able to retain that profitability over a longer period of time, too.
Yeah, I'll go back to Alaska. They're calling out, they were named for the second year in a row to Newsweek's list of America's best customer service. I've never flown Alaska, but little nugget they're clearly very proud of.
It was a record for them. Yeah. A record quarter for them.
Stock is down, though.
Yeah, it is.
But they got good customer service.
Well, 99% completion rate, too. That'll help you out.
They're the one. They're the only ones.
They're the only ones. Yeah.
That have good customer service in the airline industry. I'm not bitter about my flying experiences.
All right.